Okay, I believe you were slightly late in the previous session, so that is why we started little late. I mean, we are starting little late because I believe you were delayed in the first session, right? But now it is okay. You can start. Now, actually, if you will recall, yesterday we had started our introduction to IMSBC code. This is a cargo session, so we continue with that. We recall this? Yesterday we had a small talk about it, and now we can continue. Quick look at section wise. 1 minute. So when there are cargoes which are listed in this code, then they are listed in specifically appendix 1 to the code, which is called individual schedules for the solid bulk cargoes. Appendix 1 is called individual schedules for solid bulk cargo. Then once it is listed, it can be discovered here in the appendix, and then it shall be transported in accordance with this in this schedule described in appendix 1. Having said that, it is also important for the vessel to consult authorities at port of loading and discharging if any requirements are in force, maybe apart from IMSBC if something more is required. So appendix 1, individual schedules for solid bulk cargo. In fact, the MSDS which is provided to you by the shipper will be almost in compliance with this appendix. As we have said, something more required should be consulted with the competent authority. Now I think you can easily describe what is a competent authority. This is a concern if it is not listed. Then it is a concern, because in which case if not listed, then the shipper will have to prior loading provide all the information which is required, which is in accordance with section 4 of the code. Question has been asked previously, how will you load cargo which is not listed in the MSBC? The MSTS
सर
prepared by
क्या
the
मतलब सर इसका मतलब कार्गो लिस्टेड नहीं है मतलब
मतलब जो अपेंडिक्स 1 है ना, जो शेड्यूल ऑफ इंडिविजुअल कार्गो है उसमें है ही नहीं, इट इज नॉट लिस्टेड.
अच्छा बट
Hold on, we are discussing it. Just give me a minute. We can take up the query, no problem. What I'm saying is, one thing is certain, अगर आप वापस जाओ तो this is cargo listed in this code. This is where can you find it? In appendix 1 to the code, individual schedules for solid bulk cargo. Then you will load accordingly. The shipper will prepare the shipper declaration also accordingly if it is listed in appendix 1. But there is a chance that particular cargo may not be listed. Then what do? You still have to load it. But then the shipper has to provide you all the information as required by the code under the heading cargo not listed. समझ गए? You are asking something? We will see what information is the shipper required to furnish. But have you understood this point since you were interacting? Since the cargo is not listed in the code, shipper has prepared a declaration. It is provided. Based on this information, competent authority will assess acceptability of cargo, whether or not to accept the acceptability of the cargo for shipment. After the information for a cargo which is not listed in the code has been provided by the shipper. Right? Get the point?
एंड सर वो कल आपने फ्यूमिगेशन वाले नोट्स भी नहीं डाले सर.
कौन से? सिमुलेशन.
फ्यूमिगेशन सर, फ्यूमिगेशन नॉट सिमुलेशन.
Fumigation डालें. I'm very sure. Fumigation is already in. Can you have a relook? I'm very sure ये काम हो चुका है.
सर मैं चेक कर लेता हूँ सर, मैं कर लेता हूँ सर फिर से.
प्लीज चेक करो. आई एम क्वाइट कॉन्फिडेंट कि वो मैंने किया था. हाँ जी, have you located?
हाँ जी सर, चेक किया सर. फ्यूमिगेशन की नहीं है सर उसमें.
फ्यूमिगेशन नहीं है.
नहीं है सर.
अच्छा. I don't know. I thought yesterday we have closed it out. Fumigation. Maybe mistake, Chetan. Maybe I missed out. Can you check now? I will put it. दोबारा डाला है. Fumigation. See if you can locate now. Can you locate? दोबारा डाला मैंने. Just in case there is a mistake somewhere. Now can you locate it? Fumigation. Okay. You're not responding.
सर
I presume. हाँ जी बोलिए.
सर आप फाइल का नाम क्या है सर, वो वाली फाइल का?
Fumigation.
सर नहीं दिख रहा सर, अभी भी नहीं आ रहा सर. मेरे तो नहीं आ रहा सर.
एक काम करो. Can you see the shared screen?
सर मैं एक बार फिर देखता हूँ सर, एक बार फिर देखता
हूँ. में कुछ डिले है. ये तो कंफर्म करो. Can you see the shared screen?
Yes, sir.
Then, as you can see, nodes phase 1 and fumigation is here. Now go back and check, please.
आ गया सर.
ठीक है. देखो कुछ डिले हो सकता है. I mean, because my transmission, your receiving, small gaps may be there. But as we see, this is the link, nodes phase 1, और इसमें सभी कुछ डाल रहा हूँ मैं, as we have discussed and agreed upon, fumigation is already there, right? And somebody had said for Lodicator, I just want to insist कि वो भी जा चुका है. Somebody had said, maybe he was telling me कुछ WhatsApp वगैरह पे जाए, so that person can also check Lodicator is also there.
सर आ तो गया, कौन मना कर रहा है?
यार देखो, तुम देखो.
मैंने ही बोला था, मैंने बोल दिया आ गया. अब उसके लिए अब बार बार चीज रिपीट. ये आ गया, ये रखा हुआ लोडिकेटर,
ये वाला. ओके, ऐसा था कि कल इसके बारे में बात हो रही थी, उस समय आपने नहीं कंफर्म किया. आई वाज सेइंग कि लोडिकेटर है. ठीक है, चलो, एनीवे, जॉब इज डन, राइट? लेट्स कंटिन्यू विद आवर टॉपिक.
आज का भी अपलोड कर दिया गया सर IMSBC?
अभी नहीं यार, अभी नहीं, ऐसे नहीं होता, अभी नहीं. विल बी डन, बट लेट्स कंप्लीट द टॉपिक फर्स्ट. विल बी डन, बट नॉट इमीडिएटली. As it is a request कि you can hold on to it because that will take time. It will distract us. We'll do it, no problem. And if something is missed out, as usual, you can request. You can ask me. I will do it. So anyway, let's continue. So this question I am saying has appeared in the exam, which you will now make a careful note. The question read something like this, not word to word, but the question said, how can a vessel load cargo which is not listed in the IMSBC code? Bulk or cargo not listed in the code. तो एक क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. आई थिंक पार्ट क्वेश्चन, हाफ मार्क्स 25 के आधे ऐसा आ चुका है. सो इफ दिस इज द केस, देन दिस इज हाउ इट विल बी डन. You will make a mental note. This is how it will be performed. Which means, if it is not listed, shipper shall, prior to loading, provide competent authority of the port of loading with the characteristics and properties of the cargo in accordance with the section 4 of the code. Based on this information, the competent authority at the load port will assess whether the cargo is safe for shipment. Okay, ji, you can answer that question now. We are still going along, but some idea you have now. Do you have access to past question papers by any chance?
Yes, sir.
You have. Okay, very good. So what I suggest is, immediately nahi, but topic which we cover, you can go through and say for yourself whether you can answer the question or not based on the topic. But as we are going along, let us see, you can identify from past question papers in the break time IMSBC के ऊपर क्या question है, and that question you see whether you can answer it or not, and otherwise we will discuss it out. But it cannot happen now because the topic has just started. So you will have to wait for the topic to be completed and then maybe go through the past question papers and see whether you can answer the question or not. If not, then we have to discuss it. Get the point?
इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आप ही बता दिया करो सर.
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा है. Who is saying so? I need to interact with people. I don't mind. Who is saying so?
सर
भरत. भारत भूषण, राइट? भारत भूषण. ओके, भारत, अगर आप मानोगे तो मैं बोलता रहता हूँ ना बीच बीच में, ये क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. जो मुझे याद है, जो क्वेश्चन साइटेड है, एंड आई फील समथिंग लाइक आई हैव सीन इट 2-3 टाइम्स, दैट क्वेश्चन आई डू रिपीट इन क्लास आल्सो कि ये आ चुका है. ये तो मैं कर ही रहा हूँ. Is it not?
Okay, sir.
Like I've just now said for this one. Yeah. Apart from this, notwithstanding this, I will urge you to go back to the past question papers once the topic is completed, in break or something, and then ask it for us to address it. But as we said, this can only be done once the topic is completed. तो अभी जैसे अगर suppose we take a topic like DRI or a heavy lift cargo, वो topic complete है, उसमें देख लो क्या question आया, and then see if you can answer it from whatever we have discussed or whatever notes you have I don't call them notes, but anyway. Or fumigation, for example, क्या क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, see if you can answer it. If you can answer it, is good. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं हुआ या you are having problem in answering, then you raise this, right? That's the best method. But whatever I remember from past question papers, I will tell you as we go along. So एक ये चीज नोट कर लो, this has been asked. As you will go along in the past question papers, you will see question का word to word नहीं है, but the question says something like this: how to load a cargo not listed in the IMSBC code. Right? Hello. This is how it will go. And then you see, this is the format for the properties of cargoes not listed in the code and condition of carriage. This is how the shipper will declare it if it is not listed in the code. See, since this cargo is not listed, it will not have a proper bulk cargo shipping name. So this is how it is said, tentative, because it is not listed. It does not have a proper name, proper shipping name. Bulk cargo shipping name BCSN. This is not provided because it is not listed. Then the shipper has to declare the tentative bulk cargo shipping name. Then description, characteristic, hazard. If any special requirements, otherwise you have to mention no special requirement. I mean the shipper has to mention. Storage and segregation, hold cleanliness, weather precautions, loading precautions, ventilation, carriage, discharge, cleanup. This is, and also emergency procedures if necessary. This is the format for declaration of cargo not listed. So when you are answering that question, not only you will mention that this is what is required by this slide, what is required, the shipper has to provide information, and based on information, competent authority of load port will assess acceptability. In declaration, the shipper will include these points. ये उसमें ऐड कर दो अपने आंसर में. So we go back to the code itself. We will look at section 4 also, which is talking about this. But when we reach there, we go stepwise. Let us go back and see the code itself. So as we had discussed yesterday, 13 sections and 4 appendices, which comprises of IMSBC code. Let's have a look at some important ones, which I think are important. Firstly, general provisions. Section 1, general provisions. This is how it goes. Please remember, this is a lengthy topic. It is not going to be so easy to close it out. It is a lengthy topic since the code itself is very lengthy. So be patient. It is a lengthy topic. I don't want to leave anything untouched so that you have an idea. Now, the code is considering and is taking into account provisions of the code is taking all international and national regulations. But international regulations, as you will agree, is taken care of, but national regulations may differ from country to country. Hence, IMSBC is not comprehensive. That is why it is said that apart from the fact that you will comply with the requirements of the code, you will also comply with the requirements of the flag state of your vessel. But basically, a broad-based idea is given that how the code is applicable for handling bulk cargo. Listed in the code is very easy. When it is listed, you just need to go to that particular section and see. Cargoes currently shipped in bulk have the advice in the code for properties, methods of handling, and schedule. But as we have said, the cargoes or the schedules given is only for guidance. So some current valid information should also be sought from the shipper. See, the shipper is making a declaration. He will include Imsbc code requirements and current information which he has in his possession. In fact, let us have a look at the schedule itself as an example. Imsbc. Keep coming back to this. So this is page number 4. No, not 4. ये देखिए, we have said listed को अगर cargo inside the schedule, inside the code, it will be captured in appendix 1, individual schedules of solid bulk cargo. Let us see an example of this one. Individual schedules. ठीक है, ये आ गया appendix 1. You can easily access it. You will be consulting it if you are ordered to load bulk cargo. You will have to go back here, and then all cargoes listed in the code are described like this. Like example alpha alpha, description दिया हुआ है, then characteristics दिए हैं, angle of repose in this case is not applicable, bulk density दी है, storage factor, class, group C, and size is fine powder. So this is the description of the cargo loaded in bulk called alpha alpha. No special hazards, cargo is non-combustible and low fire risk. ये भी mentioned है. This is individual schedule for the cargo we are talking about is alpha alpha. Just in case this is the cargo ordered, then you to refer here. Now, when I'm saying shipper declaration, shipper's declaration will be based on this and will add anything which he feels has been missed out in the code, current information. Candidates, what is group C? 3 groups are there, we have decided. What is group C? When this cargo is classed under group C, what does it mean?
Sir, it means it is non-combustible and has low fire risk.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. Can be memorized. Some things you will have to commit to memory. Just cannot help it. ये नोट कर लिया आपने? This one not listed. Anyway, कोई बात नहीं.
सर ऊपर करना है थोड़ा सा स्लाइड को.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
अब नीचे करो सर. बस धन्यवाद सर.
नहीं, इससे निकलना है. Your job is done.
सर नीचे कुछ और हो तो दिखा दो, बाकी
नहीं, वो तो चल रहा है. अभी शुरू किया ना हमने. We are only on slide number 5. We'll continue. We'll continue. As I said, this is a very lengthy topic. You will have to be patient. We do not want anything untouched. ठीक है? Yeah, I had to stop because I had asked you something, not replied correctly, or attempt made was wrong. You have to understand this and commit this to memory. Code has 3 cargo groups. Even yesterday I had marked it out. maybe you need to note it down because you have not been able to respond correctly, has 3 cargo groups: Group A, Group B, Group C. And this is how it is described. Group A, cargoes which may liquefy, very important one, which means cargoes which have got a tendency to liquefy during transport. Dangerous, of course. Group B, cargo with chemical hazard. And we were talking about Group C, which is cargo neither liable to liquefy nor possess chemical hazard. That is Group C.
तो सर ऐसा कोई कार्गो है जो लिक्विफाई भी और केमिकल हैजार्ड भी करता हो?
ठीक है, उसको फिर जो ओवरराइडिंग चीज है उसमें लिस्ट कर देगा IMSBC. अगर ऐसी बात है तो ही विल टेक इनटू अकाउंट, logically he will take into account which is a higher risk, whether liquefaction or chemical hazard. And mind you, when you talk of individual schedule, the group, it may be termed as A/C, which is also a case, or A, C.
वो सर पर्टिकुलर कार्गो में देख लेंगे ना सर?
हाँ, वो तो इंडिविजुअल शेड्यूल पे जाओगे ना, वही तो बात हो रही थी.
ठीक है, वो पता है सर, वो पता है.
पता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. So ये आपको याद करना है. You must remember this because this we had talked yesterday. I clearly remember drawing this one, that you have to keep in mind this. Group A, Group B, Group C. We came to this because we were discussing alpha, जिसमें लिखा हुआ है ये Group C. So categorically speaking, Group C cargo, this one alpha is neither tendency to liquefy nor possesses chemical hazard. That is why it is classed Group C. Right? So this is how you can refer to individual schedule for any cargo. See, obviously you cannot remember all the cargoes and their hazards and etc. But the book is available to you, maybe in a soft copy, I don't know. I cannot know nowadays what is happening. We used to have a hard copy of this book on the bridge or in the CCR. So IMSBC was always referred to find out individual schedule like this. So it continues. Individual schedule of this cargo continues. This we are just seeing as an example what the individual schedule will contain. It even talks about weather precautions for this cargo, not to be handled during precipitation. Non-working hatches must be closed. Loading should be stopped. Trimmed also required by this for this cargo, trimming in accordance with the provisions of section 4 and 5 of the code, which talks about trimming actually, section 4 and 5. So this is the requirement for this particular cargo alpha. अगर ये cargo आपने note करना है, then you have to go back to this and refer it. But main thing is that you will obviously come back to the shipper's declaration MSDS, which I am saying will be based on this. And addition, whatever experience he has got for loading this cargo, he will add on to it, the shipper's declaration. But he cannot miss out anything. The shipper's declaration, and as a matter of fact, advice normally given to chief officers of bulk carriers is that once MSDS has been received, do not trust it totally. Must go back and refer to the IMSBC to see that it is compliant. Right? No special requirement for carriage, no special requirement for discharge. Cleanup also has no special requirement. That's good. Makes life easier.
सर एक बात पूछनी थी.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
सर ये कुछ बल्क कार्गोस में बोलते हैं पानी यूज नहीं करता है इन केस ऑफ फायर. सर यही है कि उससे और फायर स्प्रेड होगी. सर रीजन क्या है उसका सर?
No, it will depend on what kind of cargo you're talking about.
फॉर
Because
एग्जांपल सल्फर में भी यूज नहीं करते, कोल में भी वाटर यूज नहीं
अब
करते.
एक मिनट लेट अस गो स्लो. तुमने सल्फर की बात की है, राइट? सल्फर
Yes,
में क्या हो रहा है अगर आप पानी यूज करेंगे? इट इज रिएक्टिव टू वाटर. इट इज रिएक्टिव टू वाटर. देन व्हाट हैपेंस? सल्फर विद वाटर गिव्स आउट व्हाट? केमिकल रिएक्शन गिव्स आउट व्हाट?
हाइड्रोजन सल्फेट सर.
नहीं, एसिड.
H2SO4.
Yes, not immediately but slowly and slowly it will transform into acidic character, so that is harmful to the ship.
ओके ओके सर. और कोल में?
Coal में you have to go back to the schedule. आप साउथ में चला जाऊंगा. आप just give me a minute. We
ओके
can
ओके,
all the
कोई बात. मतलब ऐसे उसका रिएक्ट करके वो फर्दर कोई हार्मफुल
yeah,
रिएक्शन होती है.
that is why it is prohibited. For
अंडरस्टूड.
example, if you will remember DRI में क्या आप पानी यूज करते हैं? Because it is a reactive thing. देखो मैंने ये खोला है आपको दूसरी जो कार्गो हम कर चुके हैं इस कार्गो वर्क हमने DRI किया था.
हाँ सर.
So DRI also has three categories. We are looking at DRI C, byproduct fines. We will have DRI B and then DRI A also. But this is the individual schedule if you are loading DRI C, byproduct fine. Just as example, individual schedule है ये of this cargo, byproduct fines. Then it clearly states, angle of repose not applicable, bulk density is so much, storage factor is so much, class is MHB. What is MHB? MHB.
मटेरियल hazardous bulk सर ऐसा.
In bulk, yes, absolutely. Material hazardous in bulk. That is
Yes.
the full form of MHB. And group is B. B कौन सा है?
Chemical hazards.
Chemical है. So this is giving a description of the cargo. Then it is giving characteristics of the cargo. Just as example, because we have done this cargo, that is why I selected this one to show to you. Right? Fine and small particles 6.35 mm. Do you remember this? We had talked about it. No particle should exceed 12 mm because it is a fine and small particle. Hazard. Self-heating. Temporary increase in temperature. Self-heating. And it has an affinity to oxygen, so you will have oxygen depletion zones. Oxygen could be depleted in the cargo space. We have talked about this when we did DRI. Storage and segregation, it is also listing this. You have opened out the individual schedule for DRI C and you see storage and segregation also. Storage separated from. IMDG हो गया आपका? IMDG किया है आपने शायद.
हो गया
Anyway,
सर.
हाँ, उसमें आपको ये समझ आ गया ना? Separated from goods of class 1, separated from, division कैसे होनी चाहिए? ये है ना IMDG में?
Yes, sir.
It goes on to say whole cleanliness. Cargo spaces to be clean, dry, free of salt, etc. Weather precautions. So, to cut it story short, this is telling you how you will handle this cargo, which is DRIC. Give me a minute. Somebody was asking for coal. No harm, no harm. Let us have a look. Individual schedule for coal. But coal में कई categories हैं, remember. You see, there are many categories for coal. One is called this one. You will have to select which one you are referring to according to the order of the cargo which you have
ये
been
ले
given
लो,
to.
बिटुमिनियस ले लो सर, उसमें भी वाटर यूज नहीं करते.
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. ये देखो, ब्राउन कोल ब्रिकेट्स. दिस इज वन कैटेगरी. Again, the schedule is given. Everything is provided here. You can come to it. Angle of repose, not applicable. Bulk density, storage factor, class MHB again. Material hazardous in bulk. Group is B. Size भी किया हुआ है, mainly up to 50 mm. Mainly. This is easily ignited, liable to spontaneous combustion, and can deplete oxygen in cargo space. This is the hazard. To make sure against fire, previous cargo patterns which are burned shall be removed. Again, ventilation requirements given separately in the appendix to the schedule: carriage, discharge, cleanup, bilge wells, kappas, etc. This is how it goes. Obviously, we cannot memorize these things because it's a heavy schedule. A lot of cargoes are listed. So the whole idea was that you refer to this code and get an idea by going to the individual schedule. Again, this will give rise to sulfuric acid or react with water. So again, it says do not use water. Appendix is given. Of course, you cannot memorize these. No, not possible to memorize the whole thing. But you should know what information is captured here, which you can easily come back and refer to. Important point is that boundaries of these cargo spaces. I think we did this in cargo work for coal, resistant to fire and liquids. Again, IMDG के हिसाब से separated from, segregated from, not stored adjacent to hot areas. Self ignition हो सकता है, like this. It is so exhaustive, so kind of comprehensive कि ये चीजें भी mentioned है. Cargo shall not be dropped for more than 1 meter during loading to minimize production of dust and fines. Trimming होनी चाहिए even before departure. It should be ensured the cargo space has been trimmed according to section 4.2. Anyway, you can't go through the whole thing as individual. We are not doing Imsbc for coal only, right? But this is to give you an idea how to refer to the code. So to continue inside the code, general provisions we saw, general loading and carriage, unloading precautions. This is general. In general, the loading, carriage and unloading precautions is section 2. Let's have a small look at this also. When you're talking of damages due to bulk cargo, when you're talking of detrimental effects of improper loading, then you can refer to this. You can refer to IMSBC and say section 2, general loading, carriage and unloading precautions, talk about the number of accidents due to improper loading and unloading of solid bulk cargo. So you can talk about it, you can mention that in your answer, although the question is not pertaining to IMSBC, but you can include that in your answer to what happens when you are loading a cargo improperly. You can refer to this by reference to section 2 of IMSBC. Improper handling or loading can lead to damages. Right? Now this is just starting actually. Prevent structure being overstressed. So we're going to break off and then come back and meet at, I think I got a class is 14:30. I will confirm it from the timetable. Maybe you have in between class, I'm not sure.
Lunch only, sir. After lunch.
Okay, now you're free. Just asking you.
Not free, sir. We have a navigation class.
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. You can join the class. For this session, I'm done, and we will see you again at 14:30. I think. I'll come as the timetable says. Not
Yes, sir.
okay. But you have to respond to the chat as per the directions. Okay. You can respond to this one and see you again at whatever time the class is. For this one, I'm done for this session.